thank you so much for joining me here today, and I hope that you are all doing well. We are doing a bonus book review for May because I was able to combine book 3 and 4, which were from the same series, into one video. I decided that I would tell you about another series that I am reading, and it is the Jane Austen Mystery series by Tirzah Price. The first book is Pride and Premeditation, and I have finished that book. In answer to a question that you might be wondering about, yes, the characters are based on characters from Jane Austen's stories. Pride and Premeditation is a mystery featuring the characters in Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice. If you like Jane Austen stories, historical novels, especially those set in the Regency era, or mysteries, then this series and this video is for you. So, Pride and Premeditation. If you've read Jane Austen's books, you will be familiar with some of the characters in this book. However, the particulars of their stories and the characters themselves are a little different. Lizzie Bennet dreams of being a litigator. She does research in her father's law firm, Longburn and Sons. Lizzie's friend Charlotte is Mr. Bennet's secretary, and Mr. Collins works as a solicitor for Mr. Bennet. In fact, Mr. Collins has been chosen to take over the legal practice when Mr. Bennet retires. Mr. Bennet is also currently interviewing candidates for a new position as a solicitor. Lizzie would love to be appointed to that position, but she needs to prove herself. And when a murder shocks London society, Lizzie believes that the accused, Mr. Bingley, is innocent. She decides to solve this case to show her father that she is ready to take on a larger role in his practice. This will be a huge undertaking, and Lizzie will need to work around some major obstacles. At this time in history, women are only allowed in court as witnesses. And Mr. Bingley already has a lawyer in his friend Fitzwilliam Darcy, but Lizzie is not deterred. Pride and Premeditation is a creative and engaging mystery populated with the characters from Pride and Prejudice. Sense and Second Degree Murder is the second book of this series, and it involves characters from the Jane Austen book Sense and Sensibility. The Dashwood sisters, Eleanor, Marianne, and Margaret, have different interests that they pursue. The rational Eleanor is very interested in chemistry. Marianne has been working with her father, investigating cases for his clients, and Margaret, the youngest, is an aspiring author who can be found either reading or writing her own stories. And when their father is found dead, their half-brother John and his wife Fanny inherit everything. And Fanny has made it clear that she wants them out as soon as possible. So they need to find a new home. Mrs. Dashwood's cousin John invites them to live in his other London home, and they're off to London. The sisters, doubting that their father died of natural causes, investigate the case themselves. With their combined talents, they just might get to the bottom of the case. I'm about halfway through Sense and Second Degree Murder, but I have heard from one of our patrons that it is even better than the first one. So what are some books to read if you like these? I'm going to talk about either books set in the past or books that include a bit of a mystery, or both. And I'm going to start with the series Stalking Jack the Ripper. That takes place in the 1880s. It starts with the book of the same name. This is the third book, Escaping from Houdini. And Audrey and her companion Thomas are setting setting sail for America for their next investigation. The voyage becomes a horror when young women begin turning up dead. The next clue points directly at someone that Audrey cares about as the next victim. Will she be able to unravel the mystery before the killer acts again? A great series to read, which takes place in the 1700s, is The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzi Lee, and I loved this series. I find these books to be so empowering. There are 3 Montague siblings, and each book in the series focuses on one of the siblings, Monty, Felicity, or Adrian, as they set out on adventures and end up discovering themselves. I'll finish with an obvious choice. If you have never read the Jane Austen books, both Pride and Prejudice and Sense and Sensibility are great books to start with. After reading these mysteries, you'll be familiar with some of the characters that populate these books. And another favorite of mine is Persuasion. These books take place in the Regency era, where women's lives were filled with rules and limitations. Jane Austen, in each of these books, explores the boundaries and limitations placed on the women of her time and the ways that her characters dealt with the society's constraints. Often viewed as purely romantic stories, Miss Austen's characters discuss and demonstrate the frustrations that arise from living in an environment that does not allow you to fully explore your talents or pursue your interests. And there we are. I hope that you enjoyed this look at the Jane Austen Mystery Series, and that you'll check out one or all of these books. We'll be back soon when we will learn what I am reading in June. We'll also have new Explore and Create videos in the weeks ahead, so stay tuned for those. Our summer reading program starts on June 6th, and those of you from 2 years to 18 years can sign up to participate at the library beginning May 31st. Have a great summer, and until next time, I hope that you enjoy all that you do and all that you read. And thank you.